Baseball is great and I want to play it so much, but it's hard for me, sometimes it can be too tough. I'd give anything just to come up to the plate and swing. Then I heard about a really cool thing coming to our town. They're gonna build a field so kids like me can get around. Everybody's pitching in, looks like we're gonna win. It's a miracle to me.
But Miracle League Baseball obviously gives children and adults with special needs an opportunity to play baseball in a league-type environment.
Under the lights, I'm a star tonight.
What's the game plan, Coach?
Nothing but the W.
We first got started almost 10 years ago when Mike Sherry came into our offices in Pittsburgh and introduced the idea of the Miracle League to us. Really wasn't something I was familiar with, but as he described the program, the successes they'd had in other areas, we knew we wanted to bring one here to Pittsburgh.
I'm a star tonight. Looks like I'm living the dream. 'Cause I'm playing on the Miracle League.
I encourage them to go watch a game because to see them run out with excitement when their name's called for each team and to watch them play, I think I'm just really impressed with that organization, and I'm so pleased that the school was able to raise so much money for them.
Founded in 2000, the Miracle League started with a simple concept. Every child deserves a chance to play baseball. But before that, you must look at how the great idea got started. Rockdale Youth Baseball Association's coach, Eddie Bagwell, invited the first kid with a disability to play baseball on his team. A 7-year-old child in a wheelchair attended every game and every practice, while cheering on his 5-year-old brother playing America's favorite pastime. And in 1999, other children with disabilities were invited to play baseball on a typical baseball field. The players had expressed the desire to dress in uniforms, make plays on the field, and round the bases just like their mainstream peers. They asked themselves, what rules are they going to use for their first baseball game? And they decided every player bats once in each inning. All players are safe on the bases. Every player scores a run before the inning is over. Volunteers serve as buddies to assist the players, and each team and each player wins every game. Due to the rough terrain of a regular baseball field, it became this league's goal to make a special baseball field to serve the unique needs of the Miracle League players. With fundraising help from the Rotary Club and the community, they broke ground to build a special baseball field on December 31st, 1999, and by April 2000, the Miracle League had its first opening day. Today, the Miracle League has 270 fields across the United States, Canada, Puerto Rico, and Australia. But instead of focusing on the league as a whole, let's focus on a field a little bit closer to home. The field in Cranberry Township was the first field to arrive in Western Pennsylvania. And this field opened in 2009, but planning for this field took a long time before that. And Mike Sherry founded the Miracle League of Southwestern Pennsylvania.
When I was younger, I would usually watch Connor and Nolan play baseball, and I kind of like mixed emotions at the time. Like, I was happy for them when they were playing baseball because they enjoyed it. But I felt kind of sad because I wanted to play baseball just like them. It was an interest in me.
And then the day came where I was literally walking out of the house to go away on a business trip. And there he was at the bottom of the steps, and he looked at me, and we started talking about baseball. And he said, "Dad, I want to play baseball someday. I want to be on a team." And obviously there's a big pause there. A million things went through my head knowing his challenges. It started off with the motor skill issues, which led to delays in walking. which also was a result of a weakness in his left leg. And with that, just the normal things that kids start doing with hand-eye coordination and understanding and getting through some of the basics of childhood were just a little more challenging for him.
When I was about 16 months old, I was complaining about my leg hurting. When we got to the doctors and when we got into the room, the doctor examined me and then they noticed these spots on my arm, and then I think he had a concerned look on his face, and then he went out and then basically like looked at some stuff, and then he came back in a couple minutes later and he told my mom, like saying, hey, he has neurofibromatosis.
Brendan's really been faced with numerous things that any normal kid really shouldn't. So I said, all right, let me think on that and we'll talk about it when I get home.
Little did Brendan and Brian know that other children were also having issues trying to find a league that can accommodate their needs. Halfway across Cranberry Township, Mike Sherry was setting up a league for children with disabilities, like Brian's son, Brendan.
Would you believe that this is before the age of smartphones and the ever-connected devices on the internet, that there was a folder I used to carry with me, and I would just grab certain magazines or magazine articles or newspaper articles, and I would rip them or cut them and put them in this folder, and I would read them whenever I would have time by myself on these business trips. So that night, the night that Brendan asked me to play baseball in a league, I sat down to dinner by myself, brought that folder with me, and as I opened that folder, the very first thing on the stack of papers was Cranberry Township to get a Miracle League.
And obviously you answered now the next question, how did you find out about the Miracle League? So then tell me the story about how you got involved.
It was simple. It told me how to. So in that article, it simply gave an overview of the Miracle League, what the plans were for Cranberry Township, and then there was contact information at the bottom of the article, and it was to contact Mike Sherry, the founder of the league here in Cranberry Township. I did so, and we met a few weeks later in the Cranberry Township Library for our first ever formal meeting.
A couple of things that came together very, very quickly. Obviously, my daughter being diagnosed in 2007 with autism had a lot to do with it. The Miracle League first became an experience that my wife and I, my son, experienced back in 2003 in Birmingham, Alabama, where we first went and visited the grand opening of the Miracle League field in Moody, Alabama. And that was our first experience, the first time we ever witnessed watching a Miracle League baseball game. So it was back in 2003. Those two events had a major impact on my wife and I deciding to build a Miracle League baseball field here in Cranberry Township. You know, the first thing we did is we went to visit with the Cranberry Township supervisors. We talked to the Parks and Recreation director, and we kind of laid out our vision and our plans of building the Miracle League field at Graham Park. And it was just a matter of being able to show them the facts and what it would do for the quality of life for all the residents here in Cranberry that got the ball rolling. And obviously my wife Chris and I had a lot to do with the Miracle League, but you also have to add in a gentleman by the name of Doug Lucas, who at the time worked for UPMC, and Doug also worked directly with Children's Hospital. And Doug was able to get us an audience with Patty Paytas, the executive director of Pirates Charities, and we presented our unique idea to them.
We first got started almost 10 years ago when Mike Sherry came into our offices in Pittsburgh and sat down with Patty Paytas, our Director of Community Development, sat down with me, sat down with some of our partners, and began to describe what a Miracle League was. And at that time, we really didn't know what a Miracle League was, and it was a great experience to see it come to life. Since then, we've seen the program grow. We've been able to be part of this program here in Cranberry and have helped other Miracle Leagues throughout the region. But to see the faces on the children as they have an opportunity to play baseball, and so many times they're told they can't play and they don't have an opportunity, and when someone with special needs has a chance to get out and be treated like other kids, it's a wonderful experience.
It was just a matter of, again, presenting the facts and letting them do their due diligence until they finally agreed to become our title sponsor, the naming rights sponsor of the Pirates Charities Miracle League baseball field in Cranberry Township.
Hard work always pays off. 2 years after starting this project, the Miracle League was finally able to have its first opening day.
Now batting Brandon Allen. A lot of baseball left.
Come on, Brandon!
On the day that it officially opened, I was completely amazed.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was a sense of relief that we accomplished our journey, a very, very quick one. Remember, we launched this in 2007, and less than a year and a half later, we had to raise the funds and get the field built. But it was very, very satisfying to see our children out there enjoying the game of baseball like their brothers and sisters. So we were ecstatic to see the number of players that we had in 2009.
Knowing that there were going to be dozens of children playing baseball for the first time ever that day, knowing the emotions from the families that they were bringing forward as well, never thinking that their child would play baseball. And then on top of that, just the media and the Pittsburgh Pirates themselves and the play-by-play broadcasters for the Pittsburgh Pirates, the owners of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Everyone was going to be in attendance to have these children play baseball for the very first time. It was a feeling that is almost too good to be true, especially for a father like me having a child with challenges.
After opening day, the Miracle League looked for ways to improve. They later added a competitive division that is more like a baseball game with outs and plays at first. They also added an adult division. There was another aspect they always wanted to add that doesn't involve baseball. They wanted to add a playground for ones with special needs.
Yeah, when I was a lot younger, basically I couldn't be able to go on playgrounds. But Nolan, Connor, and Caitlin would, and it will make me sad because it was rough for me going on the equipment that they had, and when I usually walk around, it will usually hurt.
It's something that all of us have always wanted to have.
Well, it was always a natural fit from day one. I think after, the grand opening, as you mentioned, in 2009, it didn't take long for us to think of our next project. And the natural fit, particularly in Grand Park, was to offer not only the kids something to do before and after the game, but obviously those that came down to watch them play. So we've been trying to work on this for a number of years. It wasn't until the opportunity came to partner up with the CTCC and to be selected through their generosity as the project of the year that we realized that the fulfillment of building a playground down at Grand Park would come to fruition. So we were very excited to have that, and we think it's a natural fit for our playground area along with the other ball fields down at Grand Park.
It's something that all of us have always wanted to have. We want it to be more than just the ball field, right? We want it to be longer than the 90 minutes that the children are there. So if we could have another area where they could have some fun, where they could run free per se, that it was just another way for children with disabilities to have an area for them to have some fun over and above playing the game of baseball.
Every big project needs funds in order to complete it. One of the Miracle League's biggest fundraisers are the juniors and seniors of the Seneca Valley School District. How do they raise this money? Through Raiderthon.
I think the first year that we successfully executed Raiderthon was one of my proudest moments as a student council advisor.
My experience with Raiderthon, my first year, got me hooked on coming back the next 2 years. This will be the third year of making it just a fantastic event.
So Raiderthon started 2 years ago in the spring of 2015. The student council president at the time, Maddie Bresch, came to me as the student council advisor when I was advising, and she said, we really need to host a dance marathon. And I thought, whew, an overnight dance marathon, that's a big undertaking. They had these really great ideas. I had some experience with Florida State's dance marathon back when I was in college. And so together the council came up with Raiderthon, which is a 12-hour overnight dance marathon where students sign up to be dancers on teams. They have to stand for the entire 12 hours. They can't sit, they can't lean.
And you fundraise with your team by asking companies for donations or going door-to-door canning.
They compete with fundraising activities and different ways to fundraise to raise money for the Miracle League. And the team that wins the most money is the team that wins.
When the student council sat down to discuss what charities we would use, we talked about a lot of different types of charities. Bigger charities like the St. Jude's and the Wounded Warriors, and then a charity like Miracle League. Why we picked Miracle League was because we wanted to see where money would actually go. Now when we donate to the bigger charities, you don't really see where your money goes. But Miracle League, it's a huge thing in our community, and to help out something like that affects everyone in our community, is what we wanted to do.
The first year that we were selected, obviously most people didn't know a lot about Raiderthon, and we had no idea the impact, specifically financially, that they would have. I think we framed it up to where we would be extremely ecstatic to be offered a check for a couple of $1,000s. But
there were tears in some of the student council members' eyes when we revealed the total of almost $20,000 that first year.
And then to turn around at the next year and to top it off at almost $30,000, it's just very, very impressive to see a group of students get together to perform an activity that benefits the Miracle League in the way that they have done.
The Miracle League has impacted me in many more ways than I think I've impacted Miracle League. When I started in 9th grade, I had almost no interaction with children with disabilities and special needs. And since this time of starting in 9th grade, I've had so much interaction with them. I love baseball as much as a lot of other people do, but being able to share my love of baseball with kids who can't play competitively like most of us can, it's just a fantastic feeling to see them get the hit or run to the base. It's just an all-around great feeling. I personally look forward to waking up on Saturday mornings and being able to go hang out with my friends and do Miracle League and really enjoy our Saturday mornings there.
Ever since Mike Cherry opened up the Miracle League, I was so excited because I had an opportunity to play baseball just like you back then.
One of the things I'd like to add about Miracle League is when you first asked me, how did you hear about the Miracle League? And I said, you know, when I first started teaching, some of my students were volunteering and kind of shared that with me, and I thought, oh, that's a great cause. I've realized is that the Miracle League has been so wonderful to work with. They have really opened our eyes, myself included, to the great things that it does, that organization does. I mean, to see children like your brother and any other children who wouldn't be able to play any organized sport easily, it gives them that opportunity to feel like they're a part of a team. And I encourage anyone who isn't sure what Miracle League is, I encourage them to go watch a game, because to see them run out with excitement when their name's called for each team and to watch them play, I think I'm just really impressed with that organization, and I'm so pleased that this school was able to raise so much money for them.
Baseball is great and I want to play it so much, but it's hard for me, sometimes it can get too tough. I'd give anything just to come up to the plate and swing. Then I heard about a really cool thing coming to our town. They're gonna build a field so kids like me can get around. Everybody's pitching in, looks like we're gonna win. It's a miracle to me. I'm playing baseball, it's a sight to see. We got it all under the lights. I'm a star tonight. Looks like I'm living the dream, 'cause I'm playing on the Miracle League. I'm playing baseball, it's a sight to see. We got it all under the lights. I'm a star tonight. Looks like I'm living the dream, 'cause I'm playing